All right, good morning, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022, and the market is going to go crazy. Yes, crazy, crazy, crazy. Why? Because, well, I mean, yeah. So we've got some news to cover. We have a few things. I guess the biggest news overnight is Boeing had a plane crash, and it's really messing with the stock. Also, ES has recovered from whatever it was doing the last couple of weeks and is on an absolute tear right now. This is obviously the 4 hour. We're going up and testing pretty key levels, levels I hadn't thought we were going to get to for a long time. 4,500 is the target. Yep, 4,500 today. Just gonna get a 2150 crossover, 21,200 crossover on our 4 hour. So look for strength in some of the futures markets. And what else do I want to talk about? There's a couple other things we'll get into. I had a long weekend trip with my son to San Diego, and so I was not able to prepare the weekly watch list. So today we're just going to go over our bread and butter stocks and see if we can find some trades are gonna either continue on or we're gonna reverse. Like today is the day, testing the 200 on ES. So let's get into it. Just giving it another moment or two. Make sure stuff is going the way it's supposed to be going, and we will get into it. All right, there we go. All right, welcome. I'm Dark Algo. Let's jump into it, shall we? Okay. And Disney in the news. Disney in the news. There we go. All right, so their Shanghai resort is reporting that they are going to close their parks temporarily starting today as Chinese city records new COVID-19 infections. Yes, Disney's going to have a little bit of a pullback today. Let's see if I were Disney. All right, we are just right at the 4 hour top, daily mid, pulling back to going back to the 21 on the 4 hour puts us at 137.66. But cycle wise, we would have to come back down to the 4 hour mid at 136. So 136 bounce back to 139, 140. Contrarian, if we break out above, let's just call it 141. Above 141, Disney rips to 144. And if it can get through that 50-day, it'll get back up to that 148 range. Looks pretty decent overall. Got some stack positive moving averages. We're getting a down cycle on the MACD. So yeah, look for a pullback. At least maybe an initial flush. Downside target 136. Breakout at 141. We see 144, then 148. Okay. That's it for the DIS. Cybersecurity's named. Cybersecurity name mentions favorably in Barron's, saying Russia economy crumbles due to sanctions and divestments. State-linked hackers are likely to shift from ransomware crimes to even more destructive attacks, which could be a boon for cybersecurity firms like Palo Alto, which saw revenue jump 30% in its recent quarter. Yes, sir. So cybersecurity would be PanW, right? CrowdStrike, right? CrowdStrike's a fun one to trade. What's that one I use all the time? Cloudflare. I don't know what Cloudflare is. What is Cloudflare? Oh, .NET. Yeah, net. All of those. So there's 3 different ones that you can trade today, right? But the big news is Boeing, right? A Boeing 737 passenger plane operating by China Eastern Airlines carrying more than 130 people has crashed in the southern China Sea, or in southern China. The country's state media has reported the plane crashed in the southern province of Guangxi on Monday. Xinhua News reported that Boeing shares of Boeing parts suppliers such as SPR are on a potential weakness. SPR, never even heard of these guys, but Spirit Aerosystems Holding, yeah, they're just horrible. China's President Xi is shocked over the jet crash in China, which 133 people. So BA, yeah. Now what's funny about this? I hate to say this, and this is horrible, but when BA has bad news, sometimes they get a ripper, right? I would be watching the 182.50 level, right? Continual rejection of that 182, 182.50 level, we can see a downside move. If it gets up and breaks through it, then unfortunately Boeing may get a little boost out of that. And that's why I hate Boeing. Okay, Moderna is back in the news, and Moderna has been doing really well over the last couple of weeks. They did sign an agreement with Swiss federal government to supply 7 million doses of its vaccine. Delivery is anticipated in 2023. The deal also allows an additional option of 7 million doses for delivery in 2023-2024. This is Moderna, and yes, 160 to 180, $20 move out of the tops of things. Monthly mid 200 magnet on Moderna. I will be watching that. Let me see if I can get. Where did it go? Right there. Let me see if no, it's not added. Bummers. I was gonna see if I could get Moderna back. Implicitly. Okay. All right. Coinbase named a new short by Jim Chanos of Kiniko's Holdings after the bell on CNN. Coin, are they shorting Coin? Oh, why would you do that? No. This is bullish. It's coming up and tests its 50-day at 193.50 on its move up to 196. All right, well, it's got a lot of support. I don't know why they're trying to short it. If you want to follow the news, go right ahead. In energy, Schlumberger SLB will shut. It said it will suspend new investment in technology deployments to its Russian operations. It's coming up on the key level, that $41 level. Very, very key. If it can get above, right, above 41, 41.50, 42. Out of 42, gets back to highs at 43. Okay. Halliburton said it's winding down its operations in Russia and will halt future business in the nation. That is Halliburton as well. All right. Aeronauticals. Bomb. Nope. They've got that messed up. That is the wrong company. Thank you. There's lots of these companies at least 4-hour tops, daily tops, right? So everything came through bearish off of the scan this week, except for like TLT, which is bullish. All right, TLT moves inverse of the ES. So if the ES is ripping, then you can do puts on TLT. Contrarian, right? If the ES starts taking a dive, look for TLT to start ripping. Okay. All right, and the European Union governments will consider whether to impose oil embargo on Russia after its invasion of Ukraine. After it gathers this week, or as they gather this week to meet with your boy for a series of summits designed to harden the West's response to Moscow. Interesting. Wendy's is back in the news. All right. Mentioned positively in Barron, saying the stock may give investors more bang for their buck than its fast food competitors. And I think Wendy's is in a good position here. Safe play is wait till Wendy's breaks 22.70. Okay. Texas Roadhouse, 300 million share repurchase. General Motors bought out SoftBank stake in self-driving startup Cruise for 2.1 billion on Friday. GM's finally getting into the self-driving industry. It's running into some pretty significant overhead resistance. I'd just chill on GM for a minute. You could do 45 to 47, but that's a tough ask, especially with this. I don't know. This one does definitely look like it's on. I need some Prozac. So okay, a couple virtual or couple conferences. We do have Powell today at noon Eastern. No real earnings after the close that we'd be interested in trading. Usually, I mean, unless it's a name that we talk about a lot, I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to bring up the earnings. Okay. All right. Overall, after posting the best weekly return since November 2020, the S&P rose 6.2%, Dow 5.5%, and Nasdaq 8.2% last week, y'all. U.S. futures are looking slightly lower as the dollar gained ground alongside a bounce in commodity prices. Oil jumps 4% after losing ground last week, and stocks are pushing past resistance levels last week, closing at the highs for the last 4 days of the week, undeterred by a more aggressive interest outlook from the Feds after raising rates last week for the first time post-pandemic, and as the Russian invasion of Ukraine neared the end of its first month. There's no conclusion in sight with that today. However, later today, your boy will host a call with European leaders to discuss coordinated responses to the war. What does that mean? Okay, so we shouldn't be responding to the war like sanctions. That's all well and good, but we should not be responding. Now, I was in San Diego all weekend, and I was just talking with the locals there, right? Because San Diego is a huge military base, right? That's all San Diego is a giant military base. And I'd heard that the USS Nimitz had been deployed and hadn't come back. So it had departed, right? It's sea home, right? So unless you're running drills or else you're running missions, U.S. warships usually are based, right? And the Nimitz being one of the larger, more like the big guns. It's like the big boy, right? It's like your bigger brother that shows up to school after you've been bullied. I grew up an only child, so I wouldn't know. I fought my own battles. But no, the Nimitz, right? It got sent out to sea and it hasn't been back. So, right? I think there might be something there. Okay. More news about that Boeing overnight passenger crash. They're wondering if markets will extend their gains last week as they're all approaching the 200 simple moving average, or is a bear market rally, as Morgan Stanley is saying. The U.S. economy is in a late cycle expansion phase, and investors should use strength to position defensively, according to Bloomberg. So, analysts are coming out and saying, don't believe the hype. I agree with them. I should have put that as my thumbnail today, right? Asian markets, Nikkei index rose 0.65%. Well, good rise, right? Shanghai up 2 points and Hang Seng slipped 101 points. In Europe, the DAX is down a few points to around 14,000. FTSE 100 is up 0.6%. Oil is popping on reports that the UA government will consider whether to impose an oil embargo in Russia over its invasion of Ukraine as they gather with the old boy later this week. Okay, let's get into the future, shall we? This is just crazy banananess. Crazy banananess. All right. So, how did we do? Let's check it, shall we? All right, we do have a 50. Remember, we have a 21 to 50 cross down. 21 starting to flatten out, but we're still below the 200. I think today will be the day I think we might wick through, right? Hit this 127, may get a little bit of a pop, right? Up. We'll look at 4,500 as the magnet to the upside, right? We're hitting the 200-day right now. We have 50-day support. Very possible we could chop, right, between 44, let's say 44.20 and 44.65. That's a 40-point range. It's also the 618 retracement from the original rip to dip. Okay. I haven't ran a new one yet. The highs, previous all-time high to the low. That gives us, I mean, we're right at a 50% retracement, to be honest with you. Right there's a 50%. Let me get rid of some of these non-essential workers. Right? No. Yeah, so from all-time high to current low, right, we are at a 50% retracement back up. 618's at that can't be right. It is the 618. One second here. Let me see this. Let me see this again. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. All right, 618's at 40. I don't know. I just think that this is a good place to retest to the downside. It would make sense. Big rally needs a pullback to confirm that there is some support down here if we want to see continuation on. Falling volume, rising prices. There's a little divergence there. Okay, bringing it down to the 4-hour. Right, we're stair-stepping our way up, hitting these fib levels. We ripped through the 200-day. We're using it as support. We're going to get a 21-200 cross up today. If the 21 rejects, then we can look for a downside move. Overhead targets 4,500 is the key one. Above that, there may be some wicking through the 10, 20, or even 38, right? Big wicks like that, testing the waters, right? This is a key level that we're at now, but so far everything's looking pretty good to the upside. Right, up and rallying, up and rallying, up and rallying. This looks pretty bullish, right? I would look for 44.40 as that key level. We break that, and I think we see maybe some downside moves, but so far we're riding that bullish strength and conviction. Okay. The 50-day, the 30-minute 50-day is going to be my gauge for strength, right? We've held it quite a few times ever since we got that 50-200 cross up. This is very bullish, right? So like I said, 4,500 upside target. Pre-market high is just below Friday's previous high. Okay. All right, moving on to the nasty NQ. What's going on with the NQ, right? Well, let's check it, shall we? NQ hit the 200 or hit the 50-day, right? We hit the 127 extension from this move here, right? This one, right? So if we went up to here, now we've got a distinctive overhead target. My 1414 favorite level, right, is at the 200-day on the daily, which is also a snow line. We are currently at a tree line, okay? What does that mean? That means if we can get up above the tree line and backtest it, use it for some support, and I think there's a natural magnet up to 15,037-ish, okay? Up and back, up and back. This is, NQ looks pretty, right? It's at a key level. Let me just get back here. Move this over just a little bit. There we go. From a 4-hour perspective, we're hitting that purple line once to it, right? We got 2150. We're going to get a 21-200 cross up, right? Any sort of volume comes in, I think we get a nice little pop, right? Like I said, ultimate magnet is 1500 or 15,035. We have some resistance, right? Zone resistance, breathing room zone resistance. So first targets 14,671 followed by 14,800. then 15,033. Support is right at 1406,950. So pulling back to find that level of support. Retrace to the 21. Watch for that 21,200 cross up at that key level there, which is right here. Right, watch for pullback, bounce. If we fail, we come back and we'll have to look at some downside targets. However, there's lots of support underneath this, okay? All right, so see this fib level right here from this low to this high, right? I think those are some good levels. Just riding the 21. We're getting ready to trade up into a new zone. Should be a fun day. Like I said, 200, like this is, I don't know when it's going to hit, but I think that a touch to here would be confirmation that we're moving upwards again. Okay, moving on. Moving on up. All right, let's look at the dilly dally daily Dow. What's going on with the Dow? What am I doing this one? All right, the Dow broke above its 50-day. It's got its 200 127 extension at 34,884. I think the Dow definitely touches that today. Do we get a wick through it to 35,000? Very possibly. It's a very strong magnet. We hit it, we can come in back and back test the 50-day for support, right at 34. Let's just call it 34,400 area. I don't think we need to retrace to the 21. However, if we do break that key level of support, the 34, that's just so weird, 34,400 area, we break down below that, we've got 33,959 to the downside as support, rising 21 on the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. I mean, it looks bullish, right? 21, 200 cross up. The Dow will be the first to find out if we get that movement up. Like I said, that support level that I mentioned earlier is pretty decent, right? 34,000. It's a 200, 4-hour 200. Okay. So as we start coming down, pull up a 4-hour chart, drop a 200 SMA on there, drop a 21 and a 50 and see what's going on. Intraday moves, right? Let the 30-minute chart be your guide as long as we can maintain that 2150. Super bullish moves getting ready to happen. However, they can't just put all the money someplace. One of these is going to outperform the others. Recently, it has been this sucker right here, the red-headed Russell, right? It's been doing a pretty good job leading us on. It's been a leader, right? There is a, oops, what did I do? Thank you. So this is a Wyckoff pattern, or Wyckoff maybe. Okay, so there's this Wyckoff. Okay, there it is. Please let this get larger. Okay, bump, 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 bump. See this pattern? Take a screen, look at it really closely. What does that look like to you? A Wyckoff, sorry. There's that. There's that. There's that. There's that. Spring, right? This is spring. Coming on up. Okay, so Redhead Russell. Could it be that easy? Who knows, right? It is still way below its 200-day, but it's cleared the 50. We're going to get a 2150 cross up, right? We're kind of following that move. I like 2114 and 21. 2114 is a target. So from this white line to this white line, a little bit of chop, maybe a little consolidation. Maybe we're due for a pullback to test the 50 to make sure that it's down here ready to support us at this tree line. So rotation from small caps, right, into maybe the Dow, right? The Dow is looking like it's getting ready to test some things out, right? Gonna get a 5200 crossover on the 4-hour chart, right? We already had that 21-200 cross up. Looking for that 50 to 200 cross up. Last time it hit it, it bounced. All right. That can cross up. Maybe we get a bounce on it and then it cycles through. Right. Maybe we get that pullback rotation from small caps into other chart or into other ventures. Or it just continues to rip faces. Right. 2100 is key level. Like I said, 2100, 2123, 2152. That's right. It's asking for a lot of it. I do like this snow line right here at 2115 target. Okay. Watch the 2150. This has been holding us up 1, 2, 3 times. Okay. All right. Next up on the list is gold. Now, gold is not doing its job. Okay. So big rip, retest of 21 day, right? Oops, we fell through it. Let's get back above it. We couldn't get a close 50% or more above it. Well, if we take the whole candle, no, right? So maybe another retest of some lows. I haven't driven a trend line in this for a long time. I went from the low out. I mean, it's there, right? It's there, but does it hold or do we come back down and test this 50-day? Okay. This is kind of a nasty little pattern on gold. I was expecting a couple closes above the 21. We didn't get those, so I may be looking at shorting some gold, right? Failed the 21, got it falling 50, rising 200. So that trend line I drew was pretty spot on, right? So let's use that as support, right? We did pull back and test the 31, 50, right? So rotation out of gold into stocks and options. That's what it looks like it's going to be happening to me. Okay, I'm on time. All right, big old spaghetti cluster right there. Wait till this straightens itself out and figures itself out. If it can get, positive 8 or 21, 50, 200, then we can start looking to go long in gold again. Until that happens, I'm going to stay away from gold. Okay. Next up on the list is crude. All right, so crude did a thing, right? It came down and it successfully found support, up and back and up again, right? We're trading at the 382618 level, right? 108, 114 overhead targets, 98 as support. Okay, I don't have my lines over here on this one like I do the other ones. When I bring this down to a smaller time frame chart, this red box will become very apparent, right? See this doji here? We are in a supply zone, cup and handle forming. If you want to play it safe and crude, another supply zone right there. You can wait for the break above 109 for move to 114. We reject 109 and then we come back to test 103, 104. There's a trend line right there if you want to use that as your guide. This is what that would look like. Right? Does it just melt up to the 618? Very possibly. So I like the move on crude. Don't like the move on gold. We do have to test some support. 50% retracements at 108.98. That's why I said above 109. Right? Above 109, I think we belong. We could just chop trap into this wedge, this Fibonacci trend line wedge. It's getting ready to, it's kind of happening right now. or we chop within the supply zone. Okay, and then everybody's favorite TLT, since it wants to be a little snitch. TLT's a little snitch. Snitchy, snitch, snitch. Snitches get stitches unless you're TLT and you get riches. For real though, TLT will make you rich. I know some people that have made bank off of it. Well, what's happening? It's failing. TLT is failing. Bonds are failing again, which is okay. We are at a very key demand zone, right? Let me just draw it up here. This demand zone is a very, very importante one. Make it green because it's important, right? From a price action perspective, we gave up the snow line. We have another snow line down here as a magnet. If we make a new low below 150 point or 150.12, I think it's an easy move back down to 148. TLT puts. However, TLT was bearish or bullish this week. Right? Look at this. Oh, look at the sneak. Look at this TLT sneak peek right here. Okay. Divergence occurred approximately here. Like some of these micro divergences have played out. Right? We break out of these dark pool levels. Gap fill up. Flow index, big moves to the upside. It's dragging price with it. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. I got to go turn that thing off. Alrighty. All right. So daily move. Let's look at the 4-hour, shall we? All right. It's right on that level there. So we're chilling right at a skyline below that. There's another skyline at 149.28. Let's just say if that breaks, we come back down to 147.25. ES has just found some support. We should see a little pop off of this, or continued meltdown to about 4447, right? From a 30-minute perspective on TLT, or this is ZB, right? This is the bonds. I use TLT as the equity, right? Because they move in tandem, right? They're very similar to each other, right? 1, 2, is it a triple bottom? I don't know. It's coming to make a new low right now. It's going to touch it, but does it break through it? That is the question. $150.27. Interesting. All right, we'll check that out later. Alrighty, and the yen, right? Continuous contract yen. This is just falling, which is good for bulls, bad for bears. But if you look here, so look for 2150 cross up. If that happens, it could pull the yen higher. So we made a high, higher low, higher low, higher low, lower low. Okay. Super interesting. NQ is at trendline support. So the Russell has more room to fall, and so does the Dow. Interesting point that we're at right now. Okay. Alrighty. Oopsie, I don't want to do that. Real quickly, we're going to go through our bread and butter ones, right? Which is Apple, AMD, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla, the SPY, the Qs, and SPX. I'm going to run through these really quickly, okay? I'm going to look at maybe the 15-minute chart. I think that'll do it. All right, Apple on the 15s. It's at a very key resistance point. It starts breaking above that, right? We trade up into this zone here, right? That 160 165, 169 zone. Profits at 166.50. All right, that 166.50, I know it's a weird 50-cent level, but that is pretty significant overhead resistance. It's a magnet to it. I'll reject it. Okay. Nice move up so far, but we're starting to get a little overextended, right? I feel like some pullbacks would be definitely useful. What does the 30-minute tell us? Does it tell us anything else? Anything different? Yeah, we are at H2 from a daily. That's pretty much where machines come in and start rejecting it, right? They're not going to defend this. They're going to start defending this level. Like, hey, we don't need you to be any higher than this, right? Draw a trend line, look for a pullback. If you want to throw some fibs on it, be my guest. Just start over, right? If you want to throw fibs on something, start at your bigger time frames, right? Start on your dailies, right? From a daily perspective, we're back above the 200, above the 21, looking to retest the 50-day. Okay, we do have this sucker here that we need to be aware of. Okay. $166, 160. Geez, really? Can you give me a solid level, please? Um, 166.50 on Apple. Above that, whoo, breaks out of this little falling wedge here, gets super bullish. Last time we got above the 21, we failed. So up, back test the 50, yay, rejection. The 50-21 gave up, the 50 failed, we pulled back. Got above the 21 for a second on the daily, did not close more than 50% above it. We failed. So, we finally got a close above the 21, right? Two closes above the 21, I think trend is reversed. Very easily back tests, and we could make a new low. But I like this slingshot squeeze setting up on Apple. I like how the ES is poised to move as well. So I think Apple looks pretty decent from a 4-hour perspective, right? There it is. Possible doji day today, right? Going into today. But overall, kind of bullish. Kind of bullish. Kind of bullish. Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave? Interesting. 1, 2, 3. No, that's invalidated. 1, 2. Anyway, I gotta move on. AMD looks pretty dang good, y'all. I'm really, really happy with AMD. Okay. So we're just chilling at a snow line, barely above the 21, below the 200. We're gonna get a 5200 cross or a touch. I don't know. Interaction, I guess, is the best way to do it. Do we chop into that? Right. AMD below 110, 106. Above, yeah. I'm gonna give AMD a day to figure out its direction, right? 119 or 120 is the magnet. Gotta maintain that 21. So AMD should be fun to watch today. All right, there goes the ES right off some critical support, NQ, right? Everything's moving. So from a cycle perspective, watch what happens at the end of this next cycle, right? Hopefully y'all can see that. This is a 50-day. We're going to get a 50-day cross up, big ups, right? I don't know what's stopping this, right? Ooh, third attempt at this wedge breakout. Nvidia did this same thing. Nvidia ripped off of it. All right, so I'm looking at 120, 125 AMDs. Maybe get some time, get a couple weeks out there on that, right? Possible bull flag forming here in the 4-hour. Definitely going to have some interactions. Let's look at the 30-minute. Yeah, it's pretty strong. All right, we had the 5200 cross up. This bull flag breakout. So I would say above 114.50, pop to 116.50, 120, target 1, 125, target 2. Okay, AMD looks pretty strong. We need to get it at a good value though. Okay. Googly Google. Treeline magnet 2735. Right, stack positive moving averages. If it gets above 2735, Google's next target is 2900 with 28 and 2840 in the way. Okay, from a daily perspective, all right, again, we closed up. We got to get above this tree line. We're trying to retake the 200-day. Google above the 200-day sees these white lines. That's just easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yes, lemon squeezy. Earnings coming up. April, rally into earnings or rejection of the tree line. Okay, 2735, very, very key resistance level for Google. That fails, right? We'll have to look at 2631, 25. Google. Oh my gosh. All right, Vidi. Remember I said this wedge breakout that AMD is trying to do? Nvidia ripped off of it. So AMD got above the 200, ripped up to this fire line. This is major resistance. Nvidia needs a pullback, right? So I'll be looking at the 250, 252 puts and possibly the 250s, right? 250, 252 puts to the downside. AMD 280, 290 calls. Moving on. Tesseract is at a it's at that level, y'all. Tree line, very much like Google. If it can crack the 200-day, Tesla 928, Tesla 945, Tesla 970s. If it rejects this, we'll try 860, 833, which would be the 21-day. Okay, big important level for Tesla. It did clear the 200 on the 4-hour, right? So it's looking bullish. Tesla's looking strong right now. 30-minute. Yep, Tesla's looking strong like bull. We are coming up to this trading zone right here where previously snow lines have capped us. 925, 925, 935, 940, 945. Math, just call that. Let's just do this. There's there's one here, ISK. I'm just going to do the big one, right? Let's just call this a big old nasty supply zone magnet, okay? Riding the 21. Contrarian, we give up 900, 886, 875, 860 support. That'd be a big pullback, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, I like it. I think Tesla's gonna be starting in a 5th wave. This spider. Let's go to SPY. All right, SPY. It's testing the 200. Today is going to be the test. Does SPY rip past it and test 450? Possibly, right? Or does it pull back? Let's see. Got above the 200, held, right? I mean, it is due for a pullback. So I'd be looking for 446 rejection, 442 for support, 434 support as well. up and back. Yeah, 435.50 would be my support level. So 435.50 puts, and then 450 calls if you want to get some time on those. 4-hour perspective. Right, nice move up, 2150 crossover. Like, it's just, maybe we hit snow line 450.50, or we pull back to snow line. Kind of what I would hate to see happen would be something like this. Oopsie. All right, well, that makes it a little bit more clear. Yeah, 450 magnet, 454 ultimate magnet, maybe a wick up into there. But I do think we see some pulling back on SPY. Okay. QQQ is next up on our list. Shall we review the Q? Well, we're at a tree line. Okay. Cleared the 50. Like, this is bullish, right? I like 366 magnet with resistance at 357, 360.50. Right. So let's go tree line to snow line, resistance of these skylines here. Okay. Contrarian, we reject, right? We can't break 352. We have support down at 339.50. Sorry. Support at 342.40. And then the 50-day below that at 339. Okay. From a 30-minute perspective, and this is bullish. Right? Just broke out. This broadening pattern right here that used to cause this drama. Like, we're trading into some new zones, right? This is a I don't even know what to call this. There is a zone there for sure. But what do we do? Do we pull back and wait for a little bit more conviction coming in? Possibly. I don't know, man. It's so tough. Right? This looks very extended to me. Like, I feel like we're chasing at this point. I'm going to wait for some pull. I'm going to be patient. I just don't know if there's enough. I mean, look at that volume, though. Pretty deep. It's a lot of volume coming in. All right, we're at the 21 for support on the 15. 15-minute 21 seems to be holding up pretty decent. So does the 15-minute 50. Okay, all right. And then the SPX, right? Let's just stack positive moving averages. Let's see when those change. Got them on the 30. Let's look at it on the hourly. Hourly looks good. 4-hour difference. So it's the 2-hour that chain swaps it out. 2-hour looks good. 4,500, 45.25 target. 4-hour perspective, we broke above the 200. We're at a skyline, so we got a snow line target, 45.18. Looks like we also broke out of this overhead resistance as well. That was there, right? Even if we did bring it out to here, I would use the 200-day on the 4-hour as support, possibly the 2150. So if we do start to fall, 44.17, 43.56. Pull back for next ripper. Yeah, I think things are going to be good this week. All right, that's it for our bread and butter. All right, now what we're looking at here is the Flow Index. Flow Index is a smart money dark pool and block trade algorithm software created by FlowTrade. The purple line is the normal algorithm, okay, that tracks large institutions, hedge funds, transactions, right? It creates its own predictive indicator, meaning that if smart money is buying into a falling down position, they're starting to establish a position so that When price finds support, right, they're already in, right? They usually get in, they front run it a little bit, price finds support. As it's moving up, they're selling you those shares. So they're profitable on the way up. Okay, this is TLT. TLT looks very bullish, right? We're at some white line resistance. Really quickly, these lines are red lines are regular block trades, blue lines are dark pool block trades, and white lines are a good time. Actually, what white lines are is when there's a regular and a dark pool that print on top of each other. Can't really separate them out. So I think white, it's just a catchy phrase. Put those lines up on your screen, see what happens when price interacts with them. This little white dot block right down here at 131.06, 131.11. I believe that's an unfilled order, right? I don't know if this wick down came and got it and ripped up off of it. So if there's a buy order here, we don't get it filled, price comes back down, hits this buy order, right? And we rip up. There's another one there, and we're currently at a major resistance level, 133.50. All right, so we break into that. We trade this zone here that runs 133.75 to 135.46, right? Then we start filling some gaps. Price action, or the flow index is making higher lows and higher highs. So is price action, right? Rising wedge. That's TLT. All right, your requests. First person here gets the first request, and Johnny wants to look at Oxy. So you all think that there's going to be some moves in oil, huh? Everybody thinks their oil's coming in. MTDR. Also, if you're interested in penny stocks, Flow Index does track penny stocks. I was incorrect with my assumption that it didn't. All right, Oxy, Flow Index just trading with price action. No real block trades in the last. All right, last 5 days we have a few, right? Let's just call 56.24 support. The Flow Index is above price action, trying to make higher highs and higher lows. It's got, we're at those key levels. So a move to 58 possibly. If we do break down, we have a gap down to fill back down to 53. Okay. If we fall back down to 53, that just means that rise back up will be a little bit better. Possible rounding top. Going to be really interested to see what the Flow Index does today. AMD, big ol' lots of money came in all at the same time, and since then, right, all these little divergences have played out. Looking for the Flow Index to start making higher lows and higher highs again, and pulling AMD up with it, right? Follow that trend line support. It's from a block trade perspective, right? White line level 114.50 resistance, and then let's just call it 111.65 for support, right? If we break out of this wedge, right, everybody should know what happens on a wedge breakout, right? And if this Flow Index can start, right, instead of it coming down, if it start going back up, I like the wedge breakout. Okay. Who is? All right. I don't have a lot of time, so I got to get through these. MTDR. I'm not sure what this company does. The Flow Index is definitely consolidating, right? There's a lot of compression happening here. Regular blocks at 50, right? There's a gap down to fill, so I'm not sure what this company does, but if they break its support level, right, there's some regular block support down here at 50.14, 50.43. I would be a little bit more cautious on this one. Very easily could just chop, 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 chop. Like the Flow Index is doing. It's compressing. Right. The Flow Index did break out of its support, and it's pulling down. So I would be slightly bearish on MTDR. Okay, not sure what they do. Walmart. So Flow index is, right? This is bearish. Price action is definitely diverged, right? Some of these little micro divergences have played out, but I like 139.22. It's compression. Yeah. I think we get another attempt at 146. Depends on if the flow index reverses here and starts coming down, right? Just this little move on the flow index represents a pretty decent move in price, right? 146 to 144. See how it's trading with it? All right, this last little move right here is compression. White line at 145 even. So I would stay away from it. It seems very choppy to me. I'd let this flow index find a direction, right? This is like, oh, bearish divergence, right? Sell the rip. Okay. All right, next up we've got cat. I'll show you TLT. I'll show you Moderna. And I'll show you coin. Okay. Cat, well, what are they doing? Right, they're net selling, right? They are selling. Okay. Flow index did break out of its overhead resistance. There is divergence at approximately this 198 level. Okay. A lot of the little micro divergences. Maybe it's here. Maybe 203. I think that's, well, I don't trade it up. Down and up. Down, up. Dark pool at 219.19. If that support fails, right? You've got, I mean, you're riding a trend line, right? That is a rising wedge. Okay. The flow index just broke out of its resistance, right? It's going to move up to this level right here. There may be some of that bearish divergence playing out. They may start getting back into this, but they got to complete the cycle. I don't know if this gap has to be filled or not, but I'd definitely be looking for this move back to those points of divergence. 203 is one level, 197 is the next level. TLT, this is bullish. We just went through this. They're buying into these, right? So as price is coming down, they're buying into it, right? Divergence occurred at 136. I think we see it move at least to 136 on TLT. Moderna, right? This is a pretty big move on Moderna. I have to admit, it did a thing without me. Okay, we got a regular block at 169.36. The flow index had been, they've been selling out of their position, right? 142, right? So trade with price, right? Trade with price down, trade with price up. And here, this level here, is really where the flow index is heading one direction and price is heading in another. So I would look 169 as my downside target. Okay. Below that, so let's just call it, yeah, 170. Let's just call it 170. So below 170, we don't really know, but I think that we get pull back to at least 170. Coinbase, they're saying short it. I'm saying the flow index is trading with price action. It's pulling price up with it. So anytime the flow index has made support levels before, right? I'd look for those as a magnet. It is currently in a trading zone. Okay, so as soon as price gets back into this trading zone right here, that runs 187, right? 187 to about 195. That looks pretty decent for the coin. All right, I gotta run. Coinbase is, I mean, weekly 4-hour top. I don't know what that red line is. Honestly, no clue what that red line is. Oh, I do know what that red line is. Okay. Coin has support all the way down to 175. Should be interesting. Can't believe they're saying short it. All right, so what I would like, I'm gonna look at this. I would say 180, 130, or excuse me, 180, 88, failure, 179, 83, failure, support down here. It's like 178 level. So maybe pull back, right? Let these histograms kind of curl back around and then catch the up cycle up to, 183, 184. So this chart is amazing when it's full screen and I can see it. It doesn't really work very well for y'all though. This one is probably a better looking one, right? Weekly cloud, 4-hour top cloud support, right? We have daily top magnet, 196 with a 50-day coming in at 193 as resistance, okay? Pullback, I mean, we could come back down to the daily mid, right? 175, but I think we get a bigger move up on Coinbase. All right, all right, let's get the down cycle out of the way, and then we can take the move up later in the week. Just follow the flow index, okay? I'm out of here. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dark Algo. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Stay safe. Stay green.